Dear students, ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us Padma Shri Professor Seyed Ehtesham Hasnain, the Honorable National Science Chair, IIT New Delhi, and the former Vice Chancellor of Jamia Hamdard and University of Hyderabad. And we request him to kindly talk on the scope of future research in medical science, sir.
Very good morning to all of us who have gathered here. We had a fantastic talk, a very inspiring lecture today with Chancellor Mahbul Haq Sahab. This is the third time I'm meeting him. First time I met him at IIT Delhi. He wanted to meet me. And I heard so much about him. I said, here is a man जो कुआं खुद आ रहा है आदमी के पीने प्यासे के पास, तो I must really go there. And I met him, I was very inspired. Then of course we met again in Delhi. And today I'm here. I came to Assam for a different purpose, but informed him I'll be there. He said, then you have to come to our university. Here I am, sir. We have here Professor G.D. Sharma, a good friend of mine, who is your Vice Chancellor. We have here in absentia, and online, Dr. Sarveshwar Saharia, who was chairman of the PGI Board of Governors and Executive Council and Academic Committee for 5 years. I know him. Maybe he may remember me. Dr. B.K. Das, Principal, PIMC. Dear faculty members seated here of PIMC. And most important, not the last, but certainly very important, my very dear students. It's a great honor for me to be here to address you. I've done this in the past many times. I've given convocation address. I gave one in the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, the medical entire university. But I can tell you that I've been here just about maybe 1 hour ago. I'm really impressed. If this is the startup, I would love to see what would be 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I salute you, sir, for having established this wonderful and having a vision. I wish you all the best in your vision, in your implementation. It's a great thing that you are doing for the community, for the nation as a whole. It's a wonderful job. Today, we are living in a technology-driven world, where technology is dictating almost everything that we do or aspire to do. In even our day-to-day activities, our communications, our education, our human health and medical care, everything that we do, it's all technology-driven. There's an unprecedented scientific revolution that is going on. We all have heard about the AI and ML. AI stands for artificial intelligence. ML stands for machine learning, which essentially means that we are making use of computers to do a lot of things. And I'll give you some examples on that. You know, today, app-based business, application-based, you can download an app on your iPhone and do whatever you want to, order it and do something. Amazing. Uber has emerged as the biggest taxi chain in the world. Biggest taxi chain in the world. You must be thinking that they might be having something like few million taxis. They do not even have one single car of their own. Yet they are known as the biggest taxi chain of the world. All technology. Airbnb. It is considered today as the biggest hotel chain in the world. And yet, they do not own a single square centimeter of property anywhere in the world. And yet they are the biggest hotel chain in the world. Today when we drive, we get a Google map, it will tell you which way to take, how much time it will take. It will tell you there's an accident there. This is technology. Things are really being changing a lot. Today you can just give a phone call after downloading the app and say, I want this item for my home. Here is my home. You don't even have to give your home address. You're calling, that's good enough. Within 10 minutes, if this app does not deliver in your home what you have asked for, The entire thing is delivered to you free of cost. This is where we have gone in. Today you have data on likes and dislikes. These are very big businesses. You go to a shopping mall, buy a branded shirt, buy a branded pant or branded anything. Within the next 24 hours, you'll start getting messages about what other things are in fashion these days. What other kinds of shoes are in fashion these days? What is the price? Here is the cheapest version. Here is how did they know that I went yesterday? But that is what is the power of technology is about. Today, it's a big business, funded completely by advertisements that people make. So the moment you shop at any place, the moment you travel by air, the moment they know that you're coming to Guwahati, immediately they tell you, Guwahati, these are places to stay. I didn't ask for it, but they will tell you. Today, there's something known as 3D printing, third dimension printing. And 3D printing is very common for us in IIT, where we do it very often to develop a small model or a small, to start with technology. It was very expensive earlier, but today it's cost only about 18,000 rupees. Time has come where if you want to go buy a shoe, you don't have to try your shoe. Just put your shoe for a few seconds on their system. They will immediately measure your contours of your leg and tell you come back in about half an hour. Your shoe would be printed based on your physical size. It will not trouble you at all. It will not bite you. It will not do anything. You want it to color, it will be colored. You want it to be high heels, whatever you want. It will be done as per your personal design. This is how technology is moving. These are not random things. These are actually happening in the world somewhere. I'll tell you examples also more. 3D printed models and equipment we already know. But today in China, Chinese built a 6-storied building in China based on 3D printing. 6-storied building built in a matter of I would say just few months, few weeks, or maybe few days on a 3D printed technology. That is where things are moving in technology today. Our DNA, we know we all have a DNA, which is what we are. We all think that what we are is because of the DNA we got from my mother and my father, 50% from my father, 50% from my mother. We think it's all true. Today we know that this is not completely true. More than 10 times the DNA in our body comes from bacteria that we take while breathing, that we take while drinking water, that we take while eating food. And that is why if you are living in Northeast, you go to live in Mumbai, first 1 week, 10 days, your stomach will be upset. Because your bacteria composition is becoming different, what it was living here. So, to sequence our complete DNA, what used to take $1 million earlier, it took few $1 billion for the first human genome project. And today, it costs less than $100. To know the complete blueprint of my life, my DNA, what is in my DNA, what is the sequence, and all done in a matter of few. You wait, you give your sample. It could be a sputum, it could be anything else, a drop of blood, and wait for a matter of few hours only, and I'll give you a printout of or a floppy of your or disk of your entire sequence. And that has given rise to a technology which in medicine we call it predictive medicine. You know, it can predict and tell you what are the diseases that you're likely to encounter. It's again a prediction, but fairly accurate prediction. A Chinese scientist predicted that a yet to born human baby is going to suffer from a particular disease. And he genetically modified that human yet to be born baby, so that when the baby is born, this baby does not actually suffer from that disease. Of course, it was not allowed by the law, and he did it just to prove a point. He was jailed for 3 years for this unethical human experiment. But what I'm trying to say is that today it's possible. Before the birth of the baby, it's possible to predict what disease he or she is likely going to come across. You know, there has been many more success stories of men being cured by HIV by simply mutating the gene that enables the entry of the virus. So the virus does not even enter your body. The genes have been mutated. So that even if you violate the normal healthy practices, you will not get HIV. A very famous, one of the top Hollywood actress was diagnosed as having a breast cancer. Having just a diagnosis. So what she did was, it's not diagnosed, it's like predicted that she may have breast cancer. So she just got her breast removed. She's living healthy ever since then. That is what is known today as predictive medicines, and these are well-known examples. As I said, tomorrow's medicine may not be the medicine that we take from the pharmacy store, because 10 times our DNA is there of bacteria. And these bacteria control everything that we do. We may have our genes, a small number, 1/10 of this coming from father and mother, but how these genes are expressed, quite a lot of it are determined by the bacteria, which we call them as a microbiome in our body. Quite often the doctors give you antibiotic. Along with that, they ask you to take lactobacillus or to take curd. I worked for about 13 years in Andhra Pradesh, in Hyderabad. And there, it's a practice to have curd after your food. I was wondering, why do they take curd? And I realized it's so scientific. Curd is nothing but lactobacillus. So after eating food, you want to throw in a good number of bacteria, a defined healthy bacteria, so that they take care of everything is fine. So this is where things are moving. So don't be surprised, tomorrow doesn't mean tomorrow, maybe a few years down the lane. If you go to a doctor, they'll tell you, here is a culture of bacteria, you take this, in a few days, you'll be fine. No medicine, just a bacteria. Because they know this bacteria would be able to do some things to your body which will take care of this ailment that you are having. So drugs of tomorrow could be a simple bacterial culture. The question is, where is all this leading? Almost everything is getting digital and fast track with AI and ML. The latest development using AI ML has shaken us, or should I say, promises to make life still much more easier than before. The Chancellor asked you about who the Nobel Prize winners in medicine were. 3 of them got it. You'll be surprised. 2 of them got it. You'll be surprised. The Nobel Prize for chemistry was given to 3 people, one of which just finished his PhD 3 years ago. And he got the Nobel Prize. What for? To be able to predict what the sequence of your protein would be without actually sequencing it, without actually purifying the protein, without actually seeing the protein. And that was fairly accurate. This is where the Nobel Committee decided that this work deserves to be given a Nobel Prize. A fresh PhD, literally 4 years old, 3 years old PhD. Of course, along with his mentor and others. It's a company. So that is where it's all. And today, we are aware about a technology known as ChatGPT. And your iPhone, in your cell phone, they all have AI and ML. Today, when you Google, when you ask for the address of anybody, they ask you a counter question. Do you want to know more about him? And a matter of, before you say yes, answers are already there. So that's where things are moving so fast. This is also impacting, AI and ML are also impacting social values and dogmas which are changing. We all have grown with the fact that my mother is a mother. Because somebody saw my mother delivering me in the health center, in the nursing home, or wherever, in the operation theater. So I know for sure there are evidence that she was my mother. So mother is a fact. Father is a belief. My mother told me that he is your father. And because she told me that he is my father, we all believe that yes, he is my father. Nobody actually really knows, other than my mother, that he is my father. This is the social belief that we all have grown up today. Now this is not completely true today. thanks to biology, thanks to medicine. You can actually have a baby without having sex. You don't need a father, you don't need a mother at all to have a baby. And in fact, you can have two mothers to mother a baby. Unthinkable. That's where biology and medicine are leading to. This is something we were asked to do when I was working for the Center for DNA Fingerprinting, when I was heading that as a founder director in Hyderabad. For about 7 years I was there, and we got all kinds of cases. Two mothers claiming that ye mera bacha hai. And both were absolutely crying. And then we found out that no, she is lying. But today, it is actually possible for two mothers to claim that I have given my DNA to this baby. You know, we heard a lot about Dolly, the sheep, for which the Nobel Prize was not given, but deserved to be given. He died. So today, cloning is a routine thing now. Although it took a lot of efforts to make Dolly, the sheep. But today, if I love my pet, I love my cat, I love my dog. But unfortunately, cats have a small life. Dogs have a 13, 14 years life. After 14 years, my pet will die. So then I had a pet. I had a German Shepherd, and we loved it. We brought with us from Hyderabad. I paid thrice the fare that I paid for myself, travel by air for my dog to come to Delhi. And when he died, I felt very bad, as if I lost somebody in my family. But today it's possible to get my same dog live with me forever without dying. This is the power of cloning. I take my dog, give a small saliva, and in a matter of few weeks, the service will give me a dog which is identical to my own dog, a cat which is identical to my own cat. And before this cat or dog lives to 14 years, you get another clone made. So literally you are having the same dog forever in your life. Friends, this is not a fiction. It's actually happening today. In California, you can clone your dog, clone your cat, clone your pet, anything. This is happening. Many of us enjoy vegetarian food. And for religious reasons, we do not want to eat non-vegetarian food because it's made from animal which is sacrificed and killed. You'll be surprised. Even in India today, you can get a meat which is not made out of a sacrificed animal at all. No blood, no sacrifice, no killing of animal. It's a meat. Meat made out of tissue culture. So this is how new biology, new medicine, new technologies is heading. But where is all this leading to? In fact, today's world is on the edge of an unprecedented digital and knowledge revolution. We are flooded with mountains of data. Too much of data we are getting. But for data to become knowledge, it's not an easy journey. It's a long journey. Data has to first cross that barrier to become information, which you can then get in Google. Information has to be sustained over a period of generations to become knowledge, which will be useful and reproducible. And knowledge, after several decades, becomes wisdom. So imagine just data in the computer to wisdom of old people. It's a long journey. Computers of tomorrow and even today can do and will do better when it comes to knowledge-based operations in the next 10 to 20 years. Why wait for 10 to 20 years? Today, Moody's, it's an app you can download. It can tell you, are you in a good mood or not? You can download it, Moody's. Go and download it. My Apple Watch, which I wear, puja time, I don't go out for buying things because it's very, a lot of traffic on the road. My house is just about, I would say, 25, 40, 50 yards maximum from where I was stuck in the traffic. And I was stuck for almost 40 minutes to cover this 25 yards because the traffic was not moving at all. It was peak of puja time. I was really getting what is happening? The lights are not working. My watch alerted me, take deep breath, take deep breath. This is what technology is doing. It knows that you are nervous, it knows that you are tense. And it immediately turns on the breath sign in my watch and tells me you take deep breath. So that is where technology is moving. Unbelievable, no? It's very true. It's really happening in real life. Many of us are witnessing it. Today, apps can read your facial expression. You are speaking, prime. You don't have to do anything, just turn on your app. It will tell you the fellow is lying. So वो दिन चलेगा जब आप अच्छे दिन दिखा दोगे और दिखाएंगे कुछ भी नहीं. You can detect the truth and the false in anybody's statement. This is where, and I'm sure this app will not be allowed in India because political debates will change. In India we have politicians who make all kinds of claims and all kinds of, but never happens. So their reputation would be at stake. Software and apps will disrupt most traditional industries in the next few years. But one thing remember, while data will take a very long time to become wisdom, but what computers cannot do is they cannot do compassion. They cannot do empathy. They cannot do love. That is where human mind will remain, human mind, whatever be the computers. And let me switch to this aspect of a life where computers have absolutely no role at all, and that's where my young friends who have just joined this year, and I can assure you, 5 years from now, you will feel very happy that you took the risk or took the quote-unquote risk of coming to a school for the first time, which is the first MBBS program, because this university would have established itself as one of the best in this part of the world. I'm not talking about Meghalaya. I just was here for about 2 hours. I took a tour of this place for about 10 minutes. And I realized, oh my God, I've worked at many places, in India, abroad. Many places I was director, vice chancellor. But I've never seen the kind of finesse, the kind of vision, the kind of aspirations that this university is having. I could see the vision in the eyes of your chancellor. I really hope and pray to Allah that He bless you with success, inshallah. And this will happen. Your hard work will not go unrewarded. I can assure, I can see that happening. This is the first time I am seeing an auditorium of this size. 3,500 plus you use the balcony outside. 5,500 people can be seated. Oh, it looks like you're in Royal Albert Hall. Where in India you have it? I haven't seen any. I've worked at many top places, IITs, I've been board of many top institutions. I've never seen this kind of a facility. That's why I have a lot of hope. So let me give you some examples where computers will have no role. It's a human being a human will have a role. Let me give you a real life example. You know, you've all heard about Nobel laureate C.V. Raman, right? He got the Nobel Prize. He was an Indian working in India who got the Nobel Prize in chemistry. He wanted to open a research institute in Bangalore. Of course, it was open and finally it was named as Raman Research Institute. He gave an advertisement to hire faculty members for his institute. A lot of people applied, more because they wanted to see C.V. Raman. I want to see the Nobel Prize winner from India, C.V. Raman. Before that, only Tagore was a Nobel Prize winner. So who is this C.V. Raman? Lots of people applied, more to at least have a look at him. Finally, 5 people were shortlisted. And from this shortlisted, they were called for interview. In the final selection, which was conducted by Professor C.V. Raman himself, 3 out of 3 people were finally shortlisted, but 1 was offered the job. Other 2 were not offered a job at all. They must have left. Next morning, Professor Raman was walking and he found a young man waiting for him. He thought maybe he's waiting to find out, sir, mera kya hua? Young man, he asked, what are you waiting for? But he knew that this was the man who we did not select. He said, there's no problem, sir. When I claimed my TA yesterday, the clerk gave me 7 rupees extra. I wanted to return the 7 rupees and I went to the clerk yesterday only. He said, no, the accounts have been closed, bill has been closed. You take the 7 rupees, ash karo. 7 rupees in those times meant a lot. And so I came here to return it. I couldn't do, but when you invited me, I thought I'll tell you. He says, give me 7 rupees, I'll take it, don't worry, you go. But Raman stopped for a while. He said, you've come here to return the 7 rupees, I've taken it. Do one thing, come and see me tomorrow. At 10:30 you come and meet me in my office. So he said, I don't know why he's called, मेरा selection to 1 hai, I have not been selected, so why has C.V. Raman called me? But very happy, at least I'm meeting again Professor C.V. Raman. So he met Professor Raman next day. The Nobel laureate told him, son, you failed in the physics test that we conducted, but you passed the honesty test. So I have created another post for you. I am appointing you as a faculty in Raman Research, in my research institute. That was not known as Raman, but in my research institute. Young man was surprised. I was not selected, yet C.V. Raman, he himself says, I am appointing you, come and join. Many years passed after that. In 1983, a man from India working in the US gets a Nobel Prize. His name was Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. This was the 7 rupee man. He was given the Nobel Prize. He has written this in a book on how the 7 rupees changed his life. This was how honesty made a great scientist. So friends, remember that what is lacking in talent can often be made up with hard work and honesty. But honesty is very important. Hard work, guidance and help from others is important. But what is lacking in character and values can't be made up for with anything ever. That you cannot learn from the computers. That you cannot learn from the apps. This is where your father and mother, your sabhyata, your culture, and you yourself must have to learn and imbibe. Which is why Einstein said, don't try to be a person of success. He said, don't try to be a person of success, but always be a person of value. Don't climb a mountain with the intention that the world should see you. Remember that. Don't try to climb a mountain with an intention that the world will see you. Climb the mountain with the intention to see the world. That is the bottom line. Let me give you one last example and then I'll conclude. One day a professor, it's also a real story. I'm not telling you stories just like that, cooked up stories. These are real life events. One day a professor entered the classroom and asked his students to take a surprise test. Students were wondering, we didn't prepare. He said, surprise test, so surprise test, prepare nahi karna padta. So he goes to he finds a piece of question paper upside down so that you can't see the question, placed on every seat. Then he calls his students. He said, now pick up your question paper. They all turn it up and see. To everyone's surprise, there was no question on that sheet, just a black dot. No questions, nothing written, just a black dot at the center of the page. So everybody was wondering, क्या professor बोल रहे हैं, एक surprise test है, question तो है ही नहीं, there's no question. The professor realized and saw the expression on everybody's face. He says, you're confused? Don't get confused. Just go through what you can see there. I want you to write what you see there. And remember what he said? I want you to write what you see there. They all looked at each other. इसमें है ही नहीं कुछ भी, इसमें black dot है. The students started writing. At the end of the class, the professor took all the answer papers and started reading each one of them aloud, one by one, in front of all the students. All of them. Every single student with no exception described the black dot, trying to explain its position. ये बीच में है, ये बीच में काला है, काले साइड में कम काला है, ये थोड़ा सा एंगल पर है, so on and so forth. Every single person wrote about the black dot. after all had been read and the classroom was silent, the professor began to explain. And he said, I'm not going to grade you on this. I'm not going to grade you. I just wanted to give you something to think about. None of you wrote about the white part of the paper, of the question paper. Everyone focused on the black dot, and the same happens in our lives. We have a white paper to observe and enjoy, but we always focus on the dark spots. Our life is a gift given to us by the Almighty. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Allah, whosoever, whatever be your feeling, your religion. Our life is a gift given to us by the Almighty with love and care. And we always have reasons to celebrate. Nature renewing itself every day. Our friends around us. The job that provides a livelihood. Our parents. The miracles we see every day. Everything is a good thing to see and observe and thank. However, we insist on focusing only on the dark issues around us. The health issues that bother us. The lack of money, the complicated relationship with a family member, the scolding you got from your father or mother or my friend, the disappointment. The dark spots are very, very small compared to everything that we have in our lives. And these are the ones that pollute our minds. Friends, and I'm particularly addressing the younger friends who have just joined this year for the medical school. Take your eyes away from the black spots in your life. Today, tomorrow, and every day. Enjoy each one of your blessings, each moment that life gives you. Be happy and live a life filled with love. This you will not learn from AI and ML. This is where I see that it's a limit of what AI and ML can do. Let me conclude by making a quote from, taking a small couplet from a famous poet, Allama Iqbal, who gave our song, Sare Jahan Se Acha, Hindustan Hamara. And this is particularly true for my young friends here. And Iqbal says, Khudi ko kar buland itna. Khudi matlab, make yourself so great, so high, कि हर तकदीर के पहले, that before your destiny is written, before your future is written, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर के पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे, the Almighty ask you, बता तेरी रज़ा क्या है? Tell me, what do you wish? Thank you so much for being here.